You're watching The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Hi, everybody. It is Minute To Skim It time, our awesome review show. Shanice and I read a great many books, some of which we understood and some we did not. Sometimes there's a whole bunch of good books out in a week, and sometimes it's just like the other guys. Yeah. So there's some of the other guys out this week. We're sorry. We always like to say positive things about comic books, and there are a great many things to love about them, but sometimes we just have to say the truth. Thank you for joining us here on The Experience. Now's your opportunity to like and share us, because this is the time that you can actually get it to your friends and time for them to come and watch the show and actually get something out of it, which is reviews about books that are coming out this week, and time for you to connect with your local comic shop, or what's called an LCS. You want to get the books that you want. Yep. It's important function. All right. So I don't know how many books you read. Are we about even? Did we do even this week?
I think about even this week.
Woo-hoo. Uh-oh, there's a camera on the other side. Right. Do you want to go first? I'm always going first.
Oh, you want to go first?
I go first.
Alrighty. So I'm going to go with Giant Size X-Men Thunderbird as my first book. Very nice cover. So I really liked it. I'm not too familiar with the character, since, like how he explains in the book, he's the first X-Men to die on a mission. So I had no idea who.
Ouch.
Yeah, right. That's his legacy, as being the first X-Men to go down. But he comes back due to a certain mutant island that's been in existence for a couple years now, and you see him just basically just go home and to see his family, and of course, this being the X-Men and this being a comic book, something goes wrong, and he's trying to fix this problem. So I actually had ulterior motives to read this book. One of the writers is a wrestler I really like from AEW, Nyla Rose, and she's really been hyping it up online. I was like, oh, cool. My favorite wrestler, writing for one of my favorite franchises. I'll definitely check it out, and it definitely delivered. And there were parts of it that actually did give me a little bit emotional, which I really wasn't expecting. And
it's a mark of a good book,
right? And unexpected emotions, and I just really liked it, and it actually made me want to check out more of this character. And I'm excited to see him come back in future X-Men books. Yeah, I definitely recommend it, and also for my fellow wrestling fans, definitely check it out.
So do you think, from reading it, do people need to have a big steeped back history in the Hickman storyline books, to understand Krakoa?
I mean, not really. It's basically just lays out. It basically tells you just in the first couple of pages what happened, what's going on with the X-Men, and it is new reader friendly. Even if you haven't read the X-Men for years, you'd be okay.
You might like it.
Yeah.
Hey, see, thanks, Josh. We love hearing feedback about our reviews to find out if they're helpful or not. So if you want more detailed reviews or less detailed reviews, if we ever spoil something for you guys, let us know. We'll make sure that we hold back a little bit more, but sometimes just enough tease means that it's the difference between people going to buy a book or people thinking about buying a book.
Exactly.
And since we have a great many friends that are working, or people that we're huge fans of, working in the industry as editors and inkers and colorists and writers, and just there's so many jobs that goes into making a comic book. We're going to make sure that they have the best possible opportunity to get purchased, which is the the thing that they know, the way they know if they're successful. Excuse my phone, which is calling from Gary, Indiana. My phone's been calling from like the weirdest places today. I'm like, listen, I'm seriously not going to pick up if I don't know who you are. No. All right. More Marvel for you guys. Captain America, Symbol of Truth. So this storyline kind of was like launched by the book that they had both Captain Americas in together. They had Steve and Sam in the same book. They called it Captain America Zero. That was a couple weeks ago. So this is Symbol of Truth. It pairs Sam back with his, I guess we'll call him a sidekick. Mm-hmm. And I forgot what they called him. What did they call him? That is crazy. I can't remember it. He's like, where's the green outfit? We're going to call him Hawk because I want to. So it just makes sense. Because, you know, he has his little, like, I don't know, he's not a robot. It's like a little bird that flies off his chest and is a robot that goes around and flies. And it uses him for, you know.
Oh, Red Wing?
Yeah, he gets to use him to, like, spy on stuff. This is not that. This is like another actual character that was introduced last time that they put Sam in his own book as Captain America. And then, you know, he tried that for a while and then he kind of like stepped down from the Captain America role and now he's back to it. So this is full Captain America Sam. But it touched back on those kind of like storylines and on this character. But this one kind of deals with the kind of a timely, I guess, problem. They have like they're kind of like told that there is a, I don't know, there's supposed to be a train full of super serum, but there's a lot of cross and double cross there, and it's never really cleared up what has happened and who has kind of like sent them on this fool's errand. Because usually when those kinds of things happen, it's like there really wasn't anything on the train, but it was planned so that they could, you know, like kill the superheroes or so that they could draw them away from some other thing that they wanted to do. But those aren't the things that are going on in this book. So it does a great job of kind of like showing them working together in their new roles, but it also kind of like puts you on a cliffhanger for what was this thing? What was the whole thing about? It's kind of like for fans of like Firefly, the train job. If you like that storyline, kind of like that. But yeah, it's a cool story. Give them a chance. I know it's a lot of books if you're going to pick up all of them, but because we got 2 Captain Americas actively playing, so you should absolutely pick this one up and support this creative team because I like that. I'm going to go close this door because it's going to be loud.
Your turn. My turn. Alrighty. Whew. This one I'm really trying to hold off on reviewing just yet. So I'll go with this one. Okay. So Grimm from Boom Studios. So I'm sure that you can tell from the cover and from the title, it has to deal with the Grim Reaper. So
not the brothers Grimm. Don't get yourself twisted.
Okay, yeah, that's a fair point. Or a combo of both. So I really like this one. I was hoping I'd get a chance to read it because there were some I'm like, oh, I don't know if Jen's gonna read it or if I'm gonna read it.
It's so funny because Shanice doesn't ever say like, I'm reading this or else. She's just so like, whatever you want, Ms. Jen, and I'll take the rest. I was like, you can totally say, I must have it, because I'd rather have someone that's like really impassioned about a storyline to read the thing.
Yeah, and I went to it completely blind. Like when we were processing books today, I was like, oh, this cover looks really nice. And I read it, it's like, oh, this is a really trippy book. And I just really liked it because the main character kind of reminds me. So if you've read Neil Gaiman's Sandman, how death is in what you would expect for it to be, just a really just super kind of bubbly, take on on death.
Yes.
With this one, kind of similar. It's like the Grim Reaper, she's like not, I don't want to say like super chill about what she does, but it's like, yeah, it's just like it's a job. just 9 to 5.
My.
Yeah. So she basically helps a character cross over. And of course, this is supposed to be her regular job. And of course, again, like I said earlier, comic books, something does go wrong. And I don't want to spoil what happens, but I just really, really liked it. I really want to see what happens to this character because she is in quite the pickle at the end of this book.
The ruby size.
Yeah, and I can't stop talking. I want to talk about it, but I'm worried that I'll spoil it. But this is like one of my personal picks of the weeks. It's tied with this one and another one that I'll discuss at the end of the show.
Okay, so did you read The Many Deaths of Layla Starr by Round B?
I have not.
Okay, so I'm just kind of wondering if it had any kind of like the beats like that did, because the point of that book is that the death, but the death from the Indian faith, is like told. Imagine if death was like in a corporate job and was told that she was no longer needed because people didn't fear death or didn't worry about death. And so she just kind of like comes down to earth and like dies many times herself because I don't know, she's immortal. So she just keeps on coming back.
See, now this, okay, so death, it's like this. So there's not just like a one actual Reaper. There are like multiple Reapers.
Oh,
so it's like there's like this big company and like this bureaucratic just like nightmare essentially. When you die, you just have to like wait your turn. Like, hey, here's your number. We'll do it for you in a minute. And it
sounds like hell.
Right? Exactly. This is just like that. But yeah,
no,
I
thank
really dug
you.
it.
Oh man. Okay. This one is probably going to be one of those that people are going to be like, oh, I didn't have it on my pull list and I should have put it on my pull list. This one is Hulk versus Thor, Banner of War, Alpha, and it picks right up where both the Hulk storyline and the Thor storyline is. So it's just like it goes together. So in this, perfect, BBB, you're very smart to have it on your pull list because I think it's going to be something that people didn't maybe order enough of. Just my guts.
It's all fun.
So Cates is writing, right? And Cates has been writing both of the other ones. So you can tell he can do whatever he wants in them. And he does. So in the Thor series, cover your ears if you don't want to know what's going on in Thor. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So in Thor, his father recently died, gave up his life so that Thor could have enough power to defeat his big enemy, which I'll leave that as a mystery for you guys. So you can go back and read it because it's amazing. But in that act of stuff that happens, Thor's father's soul gets trapped in Mjolnir. So the Mjolnir that Thor is carrying around talks to him, kind of like, I don't know, there's other swords and things that Cates likes to have talk to you. I don't know. If you have never read God Country, you should go and buy that right away.
Oh, yes.
And then Hulk has been tromping around. He is, imagine a giant mech Hulk version in which Banner is in the control room and actual immortal Hulk is in the engine room creating the power. Okay, so just like if you read Immortal Hulk, you know that this is just par for the course. Many personalities all in the same place, and of course this is easy to understand, correct? Thor has blonde hair. Oh, should you've ruined it all. Dadgummit. So in this book, there is reasons for Hulk and Thor to have decided to fight each other. And that all those things come into play. So it's important for you to kind of know those to have them have this be a more meaningful interaction. And there are some, like, you know, when you're watching like wrestling or whatever, and you're waiting for like those big like boom movements, and you're like, yeah, you jump up in a chair. There's a bunch of them in this. Where I think this is meant to be just a lot of kind of like fun violence, and I'm sure that there are going to be things that he presents that are going to be that impact the going forward for all the stories, because he always does. He doesn't ever do any throwaway stuff. So I highly recommend it. Although it would look like maybe it's just like an extra title for your box, it is kind of important to both your Hulk and Thor reading. So there you go.
Definitely want to check it out. I do like Kate, so I do like Hulk.
You will like it.
Sweet. Yes. Okay. Doing the Marvel thing.
Mm-hmm.
Go with Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Black, White, and Blood. Which I love because like they just couldn't say red, exactly with blood. So yeah, it's a fun little just like add on. If you still want more Moon Knight after the Disney Plus series just that just ended, it's really fun. I never thought that I would read a Moon Knight story that made me just like laugh out loud because the second story written by Ayodele, it's just hilarious. It's Moon Knight teaming up with Spider-Man, and Spider-Man he's mix. Exactly right, and Spider-Man he needs a favor from Moon Knight, and Moon Knight is just like no. That you find out what it is at the end. It's just so out of nowhere. It's like really, but it's fun.
Thinking.
You're thinking.
I like coming up with the most bizarre possible solution, and it's really sad when I say those to writers and they give me the look like, "Oh, I hate you." When it is the thing, right? So I'm not gonna guess because it's not fair.
It's like it's great because it's just like okay, and I like seeing those two interact with each other. Like it doesn't happen like too often, but I'm hoping certain writers can also maybe in the future. That'd be great. But I just really just loved it. I really do like it. I do like these like color themed books, like because they're just like one and dones. But just seeing the artists just go just like bonkers with it, it's great. The last story it was really interesting because as you're reading, you're like, what's going on? But then you're like, oh, now I see what's happening. And it has a lot of reread bonus. I don't want to spoil how it does, but
does it make really you fun. Say I have to go back and read now?
It makes
to make sure I didn't miss something.
A little bit, actually, yes. It makes you like once you read it, you're like, oh, I'm gonna read it again, but with a little bit of an extra twist to it. And the first story, written by Hickman, I'm a big fan of his already. That was really interesting seeing a future Moon Knight, and that's all I'll say about that.
I mean, I think there's a character that we haven't seen written to go along with the Old Man Hawkeye and Old Man Star-Lord and Old Man Wolverine. We need to have Old Man. Wow, which one would we choose to be the Moon Knight is the deal.
The Old Man universe.
I guess he is kind of already Old Man if you count like Khonshu. Pretty old. Super old. We just call him Ancient Moon Knight. All right, West of Sundown, #2. This is a cool book out of Vault about vampires and werewolves, written by Seeley and Campbell. Did not walk the darkness alone. Perfect for fans of people that like to read books that are not set in like modern times. This one's more like it takes place kind of like I'll call it in Wild West times. It goes back in this one and gives an origin. Old Men Moon Knight. Yes, Josh. Yes. You got it now. We're going to have to suggest that to, I don't know. Who would write that? Shelby, right? So let Shelby write it. It goes back and tells the origin of both the male werewolf and the female who is more like a vampire in this one, and how their interaction is, the daughter, and all of those things come together for this book. And it's more about the back end, the history, than what's going on now. But that's great. I like it when they kind of like wait for the second book to take you back and they tell you why you care about the characters you just met. But it is kind of at its base, kind of like a love story, but not a traditional one. So you want Ron V to take on Moon Knight. Well, Ron V will eventually write all of them,
All the characters.
He's going to make the rounds, just like the Kates. And it'll be awesome. And Moon Knight will be in India. That's why I like it when he sets his stuff in India, because he knows India really well. And that culture is really cool and rich and has really beautiful imagery. So I think putting Moon Knight into would be amazing. All right. That's all I have to say about that one book without being able to spoil anything.
Yeah, it's really hard because like you want to go into more detail, but it's like, oh, I want you guys to experience it too.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Blind Alley. Take that cover. So this is one I was talking to Jen about. Talking to Jen about earlier, where I really liked it, but it's one of those books I definitely need to reread just multiple times for me to actually quite understand it. From what I could understand in the book, I really did like it. I thought it was interesting. It takes place in Spain. Like this former like gangster goes back to his hometown, and that's basically it. Like he just goes back and he sees his old friends, old family members, and you just see him interact with it, and it's a really cool intro to it. But it's like I want to know more. I want to see how you ended up here. How did you become a gangster in the first place? All your friends seem to be really chill. What made you choose this career path? It's just like I don't know. It's like just like someone going back to what's that show with Don Knotts? With the sheriff Mayberry.
Gosh, yes.
It's
don't ask me. Oh, we're just gonna say that show.
Yeah, that show with Mayberry. It's like watching that. It's just seeing someone like this super like mobbed up Annie Griffith. Thank you. It's like how they are okay. How did you become a gangster, man? And I'm sure they're gonna explain it in the second issue, but I want to know more and I want to reread it because I know there's some things I missed. But and I also have to give credit to this book. I never thought you could torture someone with gazpacho, but apparently you can, and it's actually a little terrifying. It's like, oh, this is delicious. I'm not going to eat it again for a future.
Gazpacho just tortures me on the regular too, because soup should be hot.
Yeah, it's like a cold soup. I didn't think you could torture someone with it, but this book found a way.
I'm feeling targeted right now. Called out for my dislike of cold soups. Oh my word. Okay. Last bot standing. I know that they're kind of like setting this up to be like the last Ronin. And it's not going to make you think to yourself, oh my gosh, you're totally copycatting that storyline. They're not doing that. But it does have two kind of like, so the story takes place on a different planet, not our own. So the first thing you have to get used to is the fact that it's kind of, they're setting it kind of like a frontier town kind of feel. And then they've worked real hard to give it its own personality as a not from here planet. So you're going to see them use terms that are going to be probably unique to this book for things, you know, like when space Westerns make up their own cuss words and stuff. It's not really that, but it's just like a regular interaction of things like what they call their leaders and all those kinds of things. So kind of like think about it in terms of that's going to be a big jump over you're going to have to do. And for me, in the amount of time that I had to read it, I think I would have enjoyed it much better if I had time to sit down and kind of mull those things over and kind of like make them part of the storytelling reading that I'm doing. But for me, as a fast having to read for the review, it's kind of like, this is slowing me down because I have to think too hard about what they're trying to say, about what they're saying. It's not right. So just know my review on this is going to be a little bit skewed because of that. But and then alongside that, the everyday life of this kind of frontiers town planet, there is you see a meteorite or something fall down to their planet, and it ends up being one of the Transformers. Okay, and so it kind of wanders into town, and the story from then on is very spoilery, so I'm not going to say any of it, but it is a very much like, it looks like a bleak future where there may not be very many Transformers left, and the ones that are left will probably surprise you. So I think it's a good start to what I see where they're headed. So I hope that they're gonna fully realize that, because you know the last Ronin was so good, and I know that they want to kind of like Transformers is such a great franchise that I know they want to try to make sure to give it its time in the sun. So hopefully that does that for this.
Let's see. Ooh, okay. So, Frank Frazetta's Death Dealer. So, I'm going to be honest. So, I knew about the actual painting and the character, but I didn't realize that it was just a complete original piece by him. I thought it was tied into a story that either he had written or someone else had written, and he did the work for it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, so with this one, you can just go into it completely blind. If you know who the artist is, it's a bonus. If not, you're still good. It's, swords and sorcery. It's basically like what you see on the cover is what you get. And I just really, really liked it. I again, went to it completely blind, except for knowing about this, like the actual painting itself. Mm-hmm. And I guess the thing that really did surprise me is like, oh, this is bloodier than I was expecting. But yeah, it has some nice bonus material at the end of it. Just some extra little trivia about Frank. That's really, really cool. But yeah, I'm looking forward towards the second issue, and I kind of want to see where it goes, because it's like, oh, I'm gonna write a whole story around this painting. Really nice.
So it's almost like people just say, I bet you can't write a whole story. Yeah. But not just one, like 4-issue series. But you can't do it based on just a picture. And they say, hold my beer. That's right.
Exactly.
Hold my beer. Ship's got it. So yeah, it's I'm very interested if it's the same story. Like, I know back in the 90s, they actually made a comic book that was called Death Dealer. And I think it was just a prestige format one. But so I don't know if this is totally different with a Death Dealer.
There's going to be some blood. Yeah.
There's going to be some blood. Hey, there's some theme going on this week. We always try to figure out what the theme is for the book release, because we have death and we have death. Do we have any more deaths? We'll find out. We'll find out if there's more deaths. But that's really cool. I know that it's a brand new company. It's called Opus. So if you're looking for it in your previews, or if you're asking your LCS for it, it's a new company called Opus. So if they're hunting it down, that's the way they find it. All right. From AWA Upshot, Devil's Highway. This is volume 2. So the thing you need to know about Devil's Highway, or at least the way I remember the last issue, is that you did not need to have any of the other issues to understand it. Every issue, at least for the first series, is kind of like a standalone story, but they all the stories kind of like take place around 18-wheelers and this highway. So just imagine just a really great anthology series, but the bringing it all together storyline. You're at least going to have those two things. So it's just like when you're reading Ice Cream Man, you know that Ice Cream Man is going to show up someplace, but that's really the only connection. Everything else is going to be like super fresh and awesome. Marco Fontanelli is here all the way from Italy. Hello, my friend. You've been busy and doing a lot of artwork and posting it up, which makes me crazy. It's so good. If you guys don't know who Marco is, he did a couple of really great books. One of them is a very spooky one. Oh gosh, Marco, what was the scary one's name? I'm going to get it mixed up. Pentagram of Horror, I think. Oh. And also the cool kaiju book with a very hungry kaiju looking for pizza, King Jira. So both of those are very different in their art style and mood and tone. You can get them both, though, and really love them. All right. Oh, so I was telling about Devil's Highway. So in this one, it focuses in on an 18-wheeler full of, I think they're coming from Russia, but they're heading through the Canada border, not from Mexico. So thank you. Sorry, Margo, every once in a while, I'm like, uh-oh, the name's going to get away. I win, Pentagram of Horror. So they have all of these people in the back of the truck, and it's clear that at the beginning of the book that they have them on the main road, and then they kind of like take them off on a side road. And the next thing you know, you have some people being called forth to do an investigation and go out and find these people that were once in the 18-wheeler. And there's a whole bunch of twisty, what am I going to call this? It feels like there is some something
went wrong.
like cult.
Please try
Did
again.
it? Somebody's talking to us. It's funny. There is some kind of like cult activity that's involved. Oh, that was your phone.
No, I don't
I
think
thought
it's
it was
my
the corner telling me that something went wrong. I'm like, excellent,
No,
ghost person.
That wasn't my phone. I don't know what that was. I just moved it just in case.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you sure it wasn't your phone?
No, it came from the corner. Unless we have a ghost in here.
Love it. Super excited. It's my favorite. There's no ghosts in this place. I've been in this place until like 4 o'clock in the morning by myself. So I can tell you there's nothing going on except for some skunk activity. Skunks try to come into our warehouse. So if you're standing around in there and you see a skunk, you just say to it, yo, just walk the other way. And it goes out and it's fine. All right, I'm done with Devil's Highway and skunks.
All right. Okay. Tales from Harrow County. So also showing up the cover. And this actually does play a big part in the story of Basket of Food. So it is a spin-off / follow-up to the series of Harrow County. So you do need to read that one before you check this one out. But if you have read it, it's great. It's from the same people who worked on original series, so you know you're in for a treat. Follows the main character from original series 10 years later, and everything that she's had to deal with since then. What kind of threw me off a little bit is that it doesn't take place in the original setting, which is in the country in the South. This one takes place in Columbine can do no wrong. Takes place in the big city, and she gets a unexpected visit from some of her kin, and she is trying to see along with you, the reader, if they're actually good, if they're not going to double cross her like people have in the past. And while this is happening, there's a side story involving the basket full of food that I pointed out on the front cover that involves a mother and her son and them doing a sacrifice. And it sounds very ominous, yes.
Culty stuff again.
Yeah, the culty stuff. Yeah. So I really liked it. It made me want to reread the original series again. And it's a fantastic series, so don't mind.
So funny. I remember the original series coming out, but I kind of saw it when it was in the middle of the series, and I was like, I can't start here. But I kept on every single week looking at it and going, but it looks so cool. So here's your chance to jump into the at least the world of it.
Yep.
Okay. I love standalone OGNs, especially when they're cool, like crime noir goodness. All right, this one is from our friends at Source Point Press, and this one's called 5 Bullets, 6 Men. And it is a very beautiful crime noir in black and white. It is a detective that gets called into what looks like it was like a private poker game in which all of the people at the poker table have been shot through the head, execution style. And that everybody that was there that should have been witnesses didn't see anything. They don't know what happened. And so the story's done really well. It has an opening chapter that gives you all of that information and kind of lets you know the players that are in the room, kind of about them a little bit, and the detective and the person that called him in to investigate this. And then all you really know is that the people around the table are kind of like super bad people. So no one's real sad about them being dead. And then the rest of the book, each chapter addresses a specific person at the table. It kind of gives you all the backstory and how they ended up there and what's going on. And so by the time you get to the, here's the reveal, Hercule Poirot style, you're like, yes, I cared about these people, or really didn't care about these people, or really wanted them dead. So it's so worth it. I love books like this, so you just don't feel like you're like, oh, okay, well, that was a story with no real purpose for the storytelling. This is like the storytelling is everything for the book. So when you get to the end and the big reveal, you're like, yes. So highly recommend it. OGNs are kind of going to be a bigger thing in the industry going forward because it allows for like single issues are awesome, but OGNs allow for people that are trying out being in comic books where they present their work to a comic book company. If they already have it finished, it's easier for a comic book company to say yes to these, and it's kind of like it allows them to kind of like have their tryout essentially for comic books. So if you start seeing those OGN is original graphic novel, so it's going to be stuff that has never been printed before as individual comic books. So you can't just be saying, I want to go back and find 5 Bullet 6 Men as individual issues. They don't exist. So they've just gone straight to original graphic novel. So that's the difference between that and a regular graphic novel. So yes, crime noir fans and people that like tales that have a big twist, you will like that book.
Nice. Let's see.
I didn't do a good job of putting these up in ways that made sense. Sorry, y'all.
Alrighty. So my next book is Red Sonja, Red Sitha. So this is why I said earlier I was a little taken aback by Death Dealer having a bit more blood than I was expecting, because it's a Red Sonja book, and yes, it is still sword and sorcery, but the amount of blood in that one is not compared to this one. So I really liked it. This is from my understanding, a new character in this universe, and you can go into it.
Marco, are you making original graphic novel right now?
Like literally right now. But yeah, it's a new character in the Red Sonja universe. She is just really fun. She reminds me of the MCU Valkyrie a little bit, where she's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna have a good time and I have swords and swing things. I like her. And Red Sonja is my pull list.
Mm-hmm. Smart.
Yep. And it's just really fun. Like, it's just so, it's like that one person in your D&D group who's just super charismatic and just slashing people and for some reason they have like this little like pigeon that follows him that you're like, what's going on here? Yeah, if you like Red Sonja, I can't imagine that you would like hate this or something, but like if you're not familiar with this character, definitely check it out. I really do love her character design, like just the bright red like dreadlocks. Mm-hmm. I love it. Yeah.
Marco, we gotta talk afterwards. I'm so intrigued now. So is Red Sitha, I think I remember from reading the open source, everybody knows it kind of like pitch for the book, is that Red Sonja's long lost daughter?
Whew. Good, not quite.
Maybe?
Question mark.
Right.
She was
other Sonja as a younger girl. This is her
aged up. Perfect. Then I need to check out the other book then, because I want to know more about her, because she's just so fun.
And
they're not related.
You're not related. Okay, well, that was me just saying all redheads are related. So do also know for your LCS that they may not put 2 and 2 together and say, this person's got all Red Sonja on their pull box. They might not think that Red Sitha is related to you or related enough for you. So do make sure you let them know, and don't wait until afterwards it's too late and get mad at them, when you could say tonight, just send them a message and say, just a heads up, Red Sitha's my girl. Put it in my box. Man, that's crazy. I keep on hitting my knee where it's got the jump.
Oh,
I'm excited about that one. Okay,
yeah, so fun.
I'm gonna show you guys the one that's like, I have no idea what I just read. All right. So this one is an Antarctic Press Phase 6P Productions, and it says it's from the Spectreman Heroes. So I will tell you, if you are a fan of the old school, like Ultraman and Jet Jaguar and all that stuff, it looks like this lineup is totally for you. If you don't like things that were kind of like maybe roughly translated from not great.
That's a good way to
Japanimation. Oh my God. Yeah. this person has all redheads in their pull box. So you can probably put it in there. So for me, this is not my jam. But I do like kaiju. I just don't like, I find it fun to read because it's funny. But like I read the first like 4 pages and I was like going, I'm pretty sure there's some translation problems in here because I don't know what's going on. But it's like really, it's a great art. It just needs some help. It needs some help from somebody that reads these books on the regular that was like, Miss Jen, you just need some help getting used to the mood and tone and patois. It wasn't for me. Did I just admit that she's read Jen? Yes, I did.
Alrighty, just make sure.
Red Jen always wears the exact same brand of shorts and a different t-shirt from Nerddom.
So this Jurassic League is number 1, and this is the book that just narrowly beat out Grimm as my book of the week.
I'm so glad to hear it because someone was like waxing poetic, but in the other way on a retailer thing this morning. So I'm so glad to know it's actually good.
So when it was first announced, I saw it like in the previews. My first thought, honestly, was like, just why? Like why? Just why? But the book,
Shanice, Marvel did Tsum Tsum characters.
Okay, this is okay, true. But it's just like okay, cool. So if you had told me before coming in today that I was going to read a book where there is a dinosaur version of Batman, German suplexing a dinosaur version of Joker, I would have laughed in your face. But it's played completely straight and it's awesome. And forgive me if I could find a way to reference wrestling, I'm going to do it. But this happens in the book. And talking about Dead Wheeler and how bloody it was. This is actually bloodier and gorier. Yeah,
it's an escalation of force in the books you're reading.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like, oh, this is a very gory week for Shanice today. For Shanice. But yeah, the book, it's really fun. It knows exactly what it is. It's the never heard. No, I know about these characters, but it's like I guess I'm gonna read this book about dinosaur versions of the League. The real question is why, but why not? This is true. That is the true question. Why not? But yeah, the book knows exactly what it is. It's super fun, and it's just I just want to.
All right. You guys name the most ridiculous books that are out there.
Right.
I like Captain Carrot the Zoo Crew. I like Too Much Coffee Man.
And the Marvel Zoom Zooms.
Good. The Disposable Assassin. Name some other ridiculous books that have a horrible premise but are amazing.
That's great. 10 out of 10. German suplexes abound. Across this book.
All right, Bunny Mask, The Hollow Inside. It will help if you read Bunny Mask, the first series. However hard it will be to find in individual issues, you can't get it in the trade. So Bunny Mask kind of feels like a non-alive human being because she has like abilities that align more with something that's undead or something mystical or something, I don't know, something occult. She can actually kind of like, how does she say it? She basically just says that she can just like remove bones from things. So, like she can just walk up to you and like take them right out of your skin. Bunny, yeah, it's very goth. Milk and cheese, that's right. Yes. And so this continues on. There's a relationship that's occurring between like an alive male and the Bunny Mask. That's what she goes by. Her name is Bunny Mask, so I don't know what to tell you. And it's him trying to figure out their interactions with each other as she goes around and makes kind of everything difficult by, she feels like she kind of is like the anti-hero in which she finds people that are doing bad things and gives them their comeuppance, which is a great. So yeah, this one is a very dark book, but you will like it if you're a fan of any of those other kind of like dark comeuppance books. By the way, there's one that's really cool that I've been recommending to a lot of people. It's about a bunch of like killer clowns that go and kill people in many creative ways that do harm to kids. Mm-hmm. Now, Can't remember the name of it, but I'll tell it to you guys afterwards. If you give me a DM, I'll tell you. Don't miss it. Oh, are we getting to the end here?
Yep.
Is it just me?
Just you.
All right, I left my favorite to the end. All right, 8 Billion Genies by Dream Team of Ryan Brown and Charles Soule. So awesome. Okay, so Ryan Brown, you know, specifically from Curse Words, and so that's the team. That's the team from Curse Words. So what you need to know about 8 Billion Genies is a very easy pitch for you. So the book primarily takes place in just like a regular like bar. Kind of think of a bar that's never done a really great job. It's been, thank you, it's Fish's Circus. That is exactly the one. Thank you. So it's kind of like a dive bar. There is a band that is setting up there that knows there probably isn't going to be anyone that shows up for their thing, because they actually make a comment and like, did you make a post to Instagram? And they're like, yeah, we had 3 people respond saying have a fun time, which means they're not coming either, and they're their fans. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like this, like everyone's kind of happy to be there, and there's like some other relationship things that are clear. There's very clearly like regular people that come to this bar all the time, including a 12-year-old boy that the bartender has befriended long ago. This is clear. They're all part of this circle is important to each other. And then something happens, and here's the big pitch for the book, is that all of a sudden, it looks like it's coordinated with the birth of somebody. Somebody's very random. We never find out who that is. A genie pops up in front of every single person on the entire planet and says, hi, I'm your personal genie. You get one wish and one wish only. I will grant it no matter what it is. Just be aware that I'm going to fulfill it in the best way that I know how, given all circumstances. So be careful about what you wish for, kind of thing. And it's kind of crazy. I love the way the storytelling goes, because the bartender / owner makes a wish that actually ensures the safety of at least him in the bar. But everything else that happens, there's like a time, because like 1 minute after the genies appear, it like has a count of how many humans exist on the earth. You know, it starts with 8 billion and 8 billion genies. And then like the next minute, it's just like how many people are gone and how many genies are gone.
Oh.
Yeah. And so it's just like, we barely make it out of the first like tiny amount of time within the book. And then it says that they're going to get us through the first, I don't know what they say, first 8 hours or something in the next book. But it's just imagine all the things that could possibly be wished for. And I'd love to hear from y'all. What would y'all wish for if there was one wish? Just knowing everyone else in the universe, everyone else on the earth had a wish as well. So going to be like, just know that you like everyone else might be wishing for the same thing as you. Like, what if everybody on the planet wished to be the most rich? What happens then? I don't know. So yeah. And then whoever wished first, if their wish kind of like circumvents or is better than your infinite milkshakes. Very smart. Yeah, just interesting. Yeah. In this case, it could be very bloody. Yeah. It's a very cool premise. And the genies all look really cool. They look just like this. They're kind of like weird amorphous blobs that are shiny.
The shiny blobs.
The shiny pops, that's right. And always, they always write books that are like, they make you think deeply about things, even though the premise of the book itself is kind of a little bit ridiculous. Like, what's the other stuff that Brown does all the time? If you've never followed Brown's page, you should, because when he does like Kickstarter-y stuff, he'll like offer things like, I can remember like years ago, he did one where it was like, you got the book, but you also got to name whatever you wanted him to do to it before he sent it to you. And they were like, spend the night with it, take it on a hike. And he would like take pictures of himself doing all this stuff, put it in a river. I don't know. There was so many weird things he had to do with his comic books, but he did them all. You would make sure no one's wishes could hurt anyone else. Very smart. I like that one. See, this book won't end well. Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, what would ours be? All right, Shanice, what would yours be?
Whew. I gotta think of one that's good for every piece of catfish that I would have in the future, it's perfectly fried. It's a perfect catfish. Just
see, that's something that doesn't hurt anybody at all.
What's up for the catfish?
There's ones that I would really want, right? I would want for everyone to be healed from their physical suffering. But like if you don't word that right, their healing from physical suffering could be, going to heaven instead. So you have to be like, okay, I want them to, or if you just say they have no pain, well then that part of their body might fall off. So you have to be real careful. However I could word that so that it would mean that people's physical ailments would be pain-free, I would like that very much, because there's a lot of people that are hurting. I would like them not to, but not dying.
See, and that is a good question. What's stopping someone for wishing for infinite wishes coming true?
No.
Yeah, I feel
they said very specifically. The genie said one wish with one outcome. That's it. So that is it. All right, we're done with all of our funny reviews today. You guys spend a lot of time at home now thinking about how you could word the perfect wish so that you could both get everything you wanted but not harm anyone. That would be awesome. Mm-hmm. And I will see you guys next time. We'll be hanging out doing more reviews for you. I'm hoping that Shanice agrees to keep reviewing with me, or at least pitch hitting with somebody else that wants to keep doing too. So we'll see you guys next time on A Minute to Skim It.